Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Worth Your Time. My name is Jared. The laughing man over there is Ben, and
Hello there,
we
everyone.
just watched Nope. So, Ben, this is the last of the Jordan Peele movies that we were
Yes, it
watching
is.
because of Monkey Man coming out, and I'm very curious as to what your thoughts are on this because we watched this with someone else, and he was not crazy about it.
He
And
compared it to rubber.
Rubber, which a lot of people probably do not know what that is about, but it's about a sentient tire that goes on a killing spree,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's not good. But you rated the other two Jordan Peele movies a 10, so I need to know, what did you think of this movie?
Okay, Jared. For starters, the last two Jordan Peele, what's his name again?
Jordan Peele, you got it.
Okay, it was Jordan Peele. The last two Jordan Peele movies, they hit that like Twilight Zone itch, that
Mm-hmm.
weirdness that you can't really classify them as typical horror.
Mm-hmm.
They are really like that bizarre sort of paranormal, almost supernatural is not the right word, but just kind of paranormal weirdness, sort of
Yeah.
weird sci-fi. And I think this is on par.
Yeah.
Um, I won't say it was as good as the other ones. I
Mm-hmm.
do think the other ones were a little bit better,
Yeah.
but this one was just a different beast. It's like, I don't know. This one scratched like a different kind of itch. It still hit that sort of weird Twilight Zone sort of feel, like that, that like awe and like mystery and like what is happening. That sort of like outer body kind of weirdness that you get from this sort of thing. But it did kind of lack in the sort of character development or typical storytelling.
Yeah.
The only thing really going for it was that sort of awe factor.
Yeah.
Everything else was a bit flat, I'm not going to lie. The
Yeah.
main character was kind of very one note.
Yeah. I will say I weirdly liked the main character a lot. I don't know why, but OJ, I just totally was just like, man, he's just there. He's just trying to, do
I
his
just
thing and just go
Yeah,
on.
okay. I said he is one note, but at the same time, that man's just like, I got mouths to feed, and I'm like, I feel that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Like he was
like I
my
get
favorite
confident.
character in the whole movie. So, um, I also liked Angel for some reason. I know when he first showed up, you didn't like him,
That man.
but like as he was like helping out and like, trying to just like help them, figure out everything. We won't get into spoilers, but
Hmm.
by the end, I really liked him too. Like I was rooting for him too. So, you know.
Yeah, I think he definitely became. At first, he was just annoying, like a
Hmm.
sort of like, I don't know, just annoying tech guy. I did not expect him to be a character.
Yeah.
But then he like kind of forced his way into
Yeah.
their home weirdly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he definitely became a better character. Not
Yeah.
that I would really say any of the characters are much of a character, honestly, but he was better than I thought he would be.
Yeah. Um, I'm kind of dying trying to talk about this without spoiling anything. So I'm ready
Yeah,
to
it's
get into
hard.
worth your time if you are.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So it is a bit longer. I think this is the longest of his movies, being 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think it's worth at least one watch. I have fun with this one for some reason. I think it's like, thrilling in parts. It's got that like adventure aspect weirdly that his other movies don't, and this one is more sci-fi, and I kind of like that. But it definitely does take longer to get going than the other two.
Oh yeah, and I'm right there with you. I kind of. Um, this is worth your time if you are into that sort of paranormal, alien, sort of again Twilight Zone esque kind of genre. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the right word.
Yeah.
Just that sort of vibe. Um, if you're going to this thinking it's going to be, like a horror movie or like, a thriller, it's not really. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some tense parts, but I wouldn't really say it's a thriller. When you figure out, what is going on, you're just like, oh, it like changes. Like the theme of the movie changes. It's a different kind of movie at that point.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to talk about it, but worth your time if you're into that sort of thing. If
Yeah.
you're not, you're probably gonna be like, "This is stupid." Like the friend who watched it with, he was like, "This is stupid." So,
Okay,
yeah.
let's get into spoilers. First thing I want to talk about is I completely forgot the twist. I've only seen this movie one time before, and it was in the theater. And the twist that the UFO is not a UFO harboring aliens, it's just an alien. The ship is the alien. It's this entity that's like,
It's just a giant monster.
yes, so cool, so unique. Like that really like took me back. So I give them props for that twist. Jordan Peele, like, great job, man.
Yeah, I was see. I wouldn't say you call it a twist. I wouldn't really say it's a twist. I would say it's just like an alteration. Like I don't know. It wasn't like, oh really? When I found out it was a living creature, it was
Yeah,
more along. It was just like, oh okay. Like
yeah, but
we're already in the realms of aliens, so why couldn't it be just a monster?
I think it's just the fact that, like, if you're really like sitting in a theater and theorizing and trying to figure out what's happening instead of just like sitting back and like watching it with friends and stuff like that, because in that moment, I was thinking like, okay, well, what kind of aliens are these? Like, why are they taking these things and stuff? Like, why are they just like abducting? And then when you see, oh my God, probably the most unsettling part of the whole movie for me is after that like group of people during the show are
Oh
taken
my
into the
goodness.
ship, and then you just see them getting like screaming when they're sucked and like trapped in that little area. Oh my God. Freaks
Oh
me
my
out every
goodness.
time. Like the claustrophobia I get from that is just ugh.
So I feel weird about that whole bit with the monkey and all that
Oh, the
because I'm
monkey.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
did that really play a part? I think they were trying to draw parallels between that event happening and the event with the monster
Yeah.
because that's basically what the guy was doing to the monster, using him as a show. I think
Mhm.
they're using the monkey as a show,
Yeah.
and it's like you mess with nature, you're gonna get got,
Yeah. What's
you
the
know.
line in the Godzilla song? Nature points out again and again. Oh wait, no. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. I mean,
Yep.
hey. But yeah, the Gordy segment I
It
think
was a little
works.
strange.
It's strange, but I think it works because of that parallel, like you were saying, and I think
Yeah.
it brings a little more freaky aspect because when you're watching from like different scenes, like it opens with it, and then there's a part in the middle where it shows you like the sitcom view for a minute, and then all of a sudden you switch to I don't remember his name in the movie, so I'm just going to call him Glenn from The Walking Dead. You see Glenn as a kid, like watching Gordy like
Yeah.
attack the dad and then attack the sister and stuff, and then eventually start going to him. But when he sees him, since he was the one he had the most connection with, he doesn't attack him. He goes for like the little fist bump that he was used to doing with him and used to having those interactions, and then he just gets shot in the head. So yeah,
Yeah, and I wonder if that's almost a if that relation between the two is drawing a parallel between really enough OJ and the monster because that monster has been there for a while,
yeah,
kind of monitoring everything that's happening. So I'm wondering if because OJ understands animals. I mean, he's trained horses all of his life. He knows how to interact and how to not um rile up an animal, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's like a weird parallel. I don't know.
I think it might
It,
be. Yeah.
it felt this movie, I think the beginning they chose things to throw you off.
Hmm.
Like starting out, like the beginning scene is the one with the monkey,
Yeah.
like already destroyed people's like lives.
Yeah.
And so you're going into this thinking it's something completely different. Not really sure what it is. It turns out to be a giant like monster, flying monster thing, and it's like I was expecting something more grounded.
Yeah. To be fair,
That was not a
in the
pun.
trailers, they do hint at the bigger thing. Like, so I knew going
Yeah.
into this. Yeah, I knew
Okay,
going
okay.
into this, it's
So that's
an alien movie.
okay. It puts point of clarity. I knew absolutely nothing about this.
hmm
So going into it, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like when they started doing aliens, I was like, oh, I was not expecting to go there because the past two movies were grounded. It's kind of the wrong word here, but they were more grounded.
Yeah.
They weren't like aliens, which
Yeah.
is kind of out there.
First one's kind of just like science experiment. Then Us, you had cloning, and now in this one, it's like aliens. We're all in now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It might not even be an alien. It might just be an animal that we don't know about. I don't know. I don't know. It's just this whole movie. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I like it, but like, it didn't feel as refined as the other ones. But at the same time, I'm like, it really hits that Twilight Zone itch.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, that just like that weirdness that you just want to get into.
And that's the thing. Like, you keep bringing up the Twilight Zone. With the Twilight Zone, you never get too attached to any of the characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're just going to be there. You're just there to, like, see this mystery unfold, see what happens to these characters, and then leave them. And,
and
when you get to that point in the movie where they start buying the cameras and stuff like that, and they start setting up, that's when I really got back into it again. I was like, okay, yeah, I want to see these characters succeed. Nothing's going right for them or anything like that. They got to get this picture. You understand that there's a time limit they have before stuff eventually starts getting out. So it's like, it's a race, And when they're putting the Monopoly pieces down on the thing and making that final plan at the end, at that point, I'm like full send, all in, like I'm for it.
That cameraman, he was dedicated to the end.
Yeah,
him and his weird robe thing, his weird parka robe thing that he just wore everywhere. He was rolling like a madman.
I gotta say too, another one of my favorite scenes. I brought this up while we were watching it. Is
the guy flying off the motorcycle?
I do love that. The TMZ guy.
That's the best scream I have ever heard.
But when the monster is digesting all of the people and everything it ate after the show, and then just it's like raining blood over the house, and then it's like kind of like this little shield blocking all the other rain, and then it's more rain, but just like, water. And like when he's looking at that, OJ straight on from a ways away, so cool. Like the cinematography in that scene is just amazing. It was incredible.
Yeah, I really think they did well of hitting that sort of like Midwest, like sort of desolate, sort of like, you're not really close to a town. I don't know. It just, you felt the anxiety of the characters in that like situation, because like you're so desperately trying to capture like an image or like a video of this creature because nobody's going to believe you. Like, how do you move on with your life with all of that on your head and nobody believes you?
Yeah.
So it's like you can feel the desperation in these characters to prove what they saw.
Yeah. And they do succeed. Like when she finally gets that picture at the end, it's like, I don't know about you, but I was like, okay, heck yeah, like good for you. I was rooting for you. And then when OJ shows back up, it turns out he didn't die. I was like, okay, man, it's nice. It's always nice to get a happy ending from these kind of movies, because it doesn't happen all the time,
Well, are we ready to wrap up here?
I am. I'm ready to rate it.
I have a rating. I think I will put it at an 8.
Okay, I'm right there with you, bud. Like literally, same one. I gave Us a 9. I gave Get Out a 10. I'm giving this an 8. This is the weakest, I think, but I still like it a lot.
Yeah, here's the thing. I want to see more. Not necessarily this universe, but I need like a series. Again, a la Twilight Zone, of like these sort of things.
Yeah.
It's just it's cool. Like it just is. It's interesting. It's unique.
His movies are really different, and that's why when I saw that like Monkey Man was coming out, and even though he's just like producing that,
it's an action movie.
It's an action movie. It's not him writing and directing, but I was like, this gives me an excuse to show Ben these movies because I think he's gonna like them.
Yeah.
And whenever he does come out with a fourth movie, we're gonna be both excited for it.
Oh my goodness.
So are you ready to hear what we're watching next?
Do I know what we're watching next? I think we're done all this stuff, aren't we?
We are. We're
done all
officially caught up with
this-
April.
Oh no, I know what we're watching next. We're watching Interview with the Vampire.
Yes, we are. So we're caught up with April. All the
we were
releases.
talking about earlier.
So we're doing a one-off of something that just Ben mentioned to me that he'd never seen, I've never seen, and we both kind of want to see. So
Yeah.
I don't know how this movie was received. I don't know anything about it.
I know a lot of people like it. I don't know if it's a cult classic or just classic. People might just, it might have been good when it was put out. I have no idea.
I know Tom Cruise is in it. Kirsten Dunst is in it from the scene in Deadpool 2 where Dopinder is like referencing it to Deadpool, and so she says like, "I want some more" or something like that. That's all I know about it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it is.
Yep. Well, hopefully it's good because we're just going to have to go with it.